This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your source for the latest Iowa ag news headlines right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, Mark Magnuson, and Andy Peterson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Mark.
Hello and welcome into Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Mark Magnuson. Today is Friday, December 6th, 2024, and we're so glad you can join us for today's show. Coming up in our closing markets, I will be joined by Curt Kimmel of agmarket.net. But before we get to the markets, it's time for our latest episode of Between the Pods. In today's episode of Between the Pods, I am joined by Mike Gilman of the Iowa Soybean Association to learn more about Farmers for Soil Health. You're watching Ag Matters PM.
It's time to go between the pods with the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network and the Iowa Soybean Association. For the next year, we will explore the ways Iowa-grown soybeans are making a difference at home and around the world. Now, here's your host of Between the Pods, Mark Magnuson.
Mark Magnuson for the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, and I'm joined today by Mike Gilman. We are at the Iowa Soybean Association for Between the Pods, and Mike, you are involved with Farmers for Soil Health. Could you tell me, please, your job responsibilities, your job title within that organization, please?
Sure, yeah. I'm on the conservation team here at Iowa Soybean Association. I'm the conservation agronomy team lead, and we have a team of 5 conservation agronomists that are available and positioned out across the state of Iowa.
And Farmers for Soil Health is something that we've talked about in the past, but just to remind our viewers, our listeners here in the state of Iowa, what the end goal is of Farmers for Soil Health and what the whole program encompasses.
Sure. So ultimately, it's a cost share program for Iowa farmers to implement cover crops on their farms, ultimately for profitability and ROI on their farms. The Farmers for Soil Health program came out of the Partnership for Climate Commodities that came down from the USDA back in 2022. It was built by farmers for farmers. It started at a national level. It's a 20-state initiative that was put together by the United Soybean Board, National Pork Producers, and National Corn Growers. They applied for the funding through USDA and were awarded the funding, and then it got broken out across those 20 states. And so Iowa Soybean got involved and signed up to be the lead technical assistants for the state of Iowa. So our team of conservation agronomists out across the state are that technical assistance for the program in the state of Iowa.
So, Mike, how would you say Farmers for Soil Health has gone so far here in the state of Iowa? Has it hit the ground running in that 2 years like you talked about since 2022? Are you still trying to get things to where you would like them to be? Where do you kind of think you are right now?
We're in a pretty good spot. So ultimately it launched, the program launched in early 2023 once everything was awarded. And so really it was fall 2023 cover crops that were the first part of this program. With any program, there were a few hiccups along the way, but we actually had really good implementation across Iowa. We enrolled about 90 growers and about 24,000 acres of cover crops that we implemented in Iowa in the fall of 2023. So we are very pleased with that here in the state of Iowa. And through the fall and winter, we've had a lot of good momentum, and we continue to talk about it throughout the spring and summer here of 2024. And now that we're into the fall and almost winter of 2024, we've had good adoption. We have about 30 new growers signed up, approximately 7,000 acres, and that's new acres in addition to what we signed up last fall. And so the way the program works, it's a 3-year program. So those folks that signed up in the fall of 2023 are signing up for 3 years. The new folks that get enrolled this fall still also have a runway of 3 years that they'll be involved in this program. So get a lot of calls, a lot of emails, a lot of questions. So overall, the adoption and interest has been very good in this program.
And that was going to be my question, Mike. You know, you get those 90 growers on board initially, adding on the 30 more growers to the program. Was it difficult to get them interested, or were they adoptive to this program initially and wanted to get involved?
Well, we've had some really good outreach and engagement, and so really as the calls and questions came in, they were very much interested in the program. So it really wasn't too hard to get them interested, kind of walk them through what it takes to get enrolled, and show them how easy the program really is. So yeah, a lot of great interest, and we've had a lot of great promotion, which has helped drive that interest.
And then you mentioned some of those hiccups that you had initially. What were some of those challenges you had to overcome?
Sure. So with any program, you have to get enrolled, and there's going to be some paperwork involved. And so this program ultimately works through us and through the National Fish and Wildlife Federation is also one of the partners on it, and then also working with the three commodity groups at the national level. So as we enrolled farmers, some things changed in what was needed in the enrollment, some of the paperwork that was needed. It does require some FSA paperwork. So we worked through that, and we feel like we're in a really good place now, especially as we go into year 2 of this program of knowing what's needed.
What have you learned in working with those other commodity groups on this project? Has that been unique for you? Has that been something that has kind of made this a little bit more of a, I guess, comprehensive effort?
It has been a great comprehensive effort. Iowa Soybean over the years has worked with Iowa corn and Iowa pork on a lot of other initiatives. And so I should also mention that here at the state level, we have the 3 commodity groups nationally that work together, but we also work with those groups here at the state level. They're also partners on this. Iowa Soybean is the lead, but we work closely with Iowa Corn, Iowa Pork, and the Iowa Agriculture Water Alliance that have helped promote this across the state. So it's always good to partner with your friends in conservation out there and the other commodity groups. So it's been a great collaboration across all those groups here in the state.
And then in terms of results and what you've seen out of the program so far, has that been able to allow you to show data or show any kind of information to potential growers that would want to get involved and maybe even get them a little bit more interested?
Sure. So what I should mention is that it is a cost share program, and I haven't mentioned that to this point. It pays out $25 the first year, $15 and $10, and that's per acre cost share. And so that's really what has got the farmers interested in it to help with the profitability and ROI. So that's really what's kind of bolstered the support and the interest in the program. So in terms of success, really how we determine success is to impact that 24,000 acres that we impacted in Iowa. That's 24,000 acres of improved soil health, improved water quality across the state. And that's really what we're looking for in the impact of this program.
And is this one of those programs then that is a win-win all the way around? Because like you mentioned, it's improving the soil health. So that's obviously good for the farmer on a micro level, but it's good for everyone in the state of Iowa as well. And then like you said, on the back end, it can help with the profitability as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We do want it to be a win-win all the way around. And so farmers are interested in learning more about conservation, learning more about cover crops, and also about improving their soil health and water quality. So it gives us the opportunity to share that story with the farmers across the state, that we do have some cost share. And many times we're able to stack that cost share with some other programs too. And so that's why we're involved with the technical assistance, is to sit down and talk with them and show them how this can be a win-win on their farm, and how they can best work with this program and make it work on their farms.
And with that technical assistance, then can a farmer pick up the phone and get in touch with someone on your team, and then you're able to help them? How does that process work?
Absolutely. We're happy to talk with them on the phone. We're happy to come meet with them in person, whatever it takes. That's part of the technical assistance. It's a fairly easy enrollment process. It is simply farmersforsoilhealth.com to go take a look and get started. Another partner on the project is DTN. They power the enrollment platform. And so that makes enrollment fairly straightforward and fairly quick for the farmers. But as the technical assistance providers here at Iowa Soybean Association, our team of conservation agronomists, we're happy to talk with you on the phone. If you want us to come out and see you in person, we're happy to hop in our trucks and be out there and meet you in the shop or meet you at the kitchen table, whatever it takes to make sure that you get what you need to get enrolled in the program.
And then, Mike, do you have a goal then going forward to how many growers you want to get involved additionally each year, or is it just kind of continuing to grow the program, and whoever gets involved, that's going to be a plus?
So ultimately what we signed on for in terms of goals was acres. And so really in Iowa, we committed to that we could find 60,000 additional acres of cover crops across the state. We feel very comfortable that we've done very well in year 1. We're almost halfway there to that goal. It's a 3-year program that is set to run through April of 2027. So we think we're in a great place and be able to blow through the goals of what we set out in terms of 60,000 acres of improved cover crops across the state. So in terms of growers, we really didn't have a number, but to work with 90 growers last year, we think we'll far exceed 100 growers this year. So we're just excited to continue to share the story and meet with Iowa farmers and help improve soil health, water quality, and help them with their ROI on their farm.
Have you learned anything over this first year of the program in terms of how it was implemented and any of the results that you saw? Anything that surprised you maybe?
In terms of surprises, I think the collaboration across the state commodity groups, we were really pleased with that and how they really wanted to step up and help promote it whenever they could. And so that was very encouraging. And I think what was also surprising was the number of inquiries that we got that came in. That the word was getting out and people were hearing about it and had questions. So we were pleased with that outcome, that the word was getting out and a lot of questions did come into us.
And then, Mike, just to wrap up here today, is there anything else you'd like to let our Iowa growers know about when it comes to Farmers for Soil Health, how they can get enrolled, or maybe why they should get involved?
Sure. As I mentioned, enrollment's open. You can get in on new enrollments for this fall for 3 years. We'd love to talk to you. It's a very easy program to get enrolled. And again, we just want to help improve soil health and water quality across the state, offer up some cost share opportunities. They can feel free to reach out to us here at the Iowa Soybean Association. You can also go to farmersforsoilhealth.com, lots of information there. And there's contact information there that will direct them back to their state technical assistants here in the state of Iowa.
He is Mike Gilman with the Iowa Soybean Association for Between the Pods, telling us all about Farmers for Soil Health. Very unique initiative. Pretty cool operation you have going on, Mike. Thanks so much for taking the time to tell us more about it.
You bet. Thank you. Glad to be on with you today.
Thank you to Mike Gilman of the Iowa Soybean Association for joining today's show, part of our Between the Pods episode here today. It's time now for our closing markets, and we're joined now by Curt Kimmel of agmarket.net.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
You're watching Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, and it is time now for our closing markets with Curt Kimmel of agmarket.net. Curt, it's been a little bit of a quiet period in the ag market. Did that continue here today on Friday?
Quiet but firm, and we'll take it. The market had some gains on Thursday and held in there here on Friday. Corn finished March up 5 cents today. On the weekly chart, up 7. It kind of broke through some resistance. We're getting some technical buy programs kicking in, which is nice. Soybeans was up 1/4 cent on the day. It finished up about 4 cents higher. The wheat market was down 1 cent today, but up 9 cents on the week, and we had a little bit of weekly price reversal to the upside. On the wheat, there's a little concern about Russia. Wheat is off to its worst start since 2003, but we got a long ways to go before we come out of dormancy next spring to see how that crop greens up. Probably the commodity here that gets the star for the week is soybean oil. Soybean oil sales just continue to be huge. And right now we've got more sales on the books than what the USDA projected. So that's going to be encouraging to see some additional sales, and maybe the soybean oil market can help pull the grain complex a little higher here for a week or two.
With the soybean oil, Curt, is this traders looking down the road to what could happen with policy and regulation here in this country? Because we know there's going to be a lot of changes made at the top of the government. And thinking about that 45Z tax credit, is it tied into that at all, or is this just normal market movement for the price?
It's a combination about all of them, actually. A lot of unknowns as the calendar turns 2025 and we start to see administration zig and zag. But the main thing, too, is these crushing plants are coming online, and they're not part of the NOPA reporting system. So the NOPA crush report would be good, but the census crush is going to be much, much higher. But what's added a little fuel to the fire is world vegetable oil market remains really strong. Then also, too, we're seeing a situation where these exports are just caught everybody by surprise. People say it's front-loaded. I hope it's front-loaded, and I hope they ship it out.
On the other side of the ag marketplace, what was the story for the trade in cattle and hogs today?
Oh, man, cattle, emotional roller coaster. We had wireworm, we have tariffs, we got Brazilian imports up over 220%. We've got all kinds of weather coming at us. But fats, it was down 15 cents in the Feb. They were down 245 on the weekly chart. This 187 on the chart there, watch that. We dip below it. We need to get back above it. But overall, beef demand's good. Numbers remain tight, but these imports is bugging everybody. On the pork side of the equation, February hogs up 97 cents today, up $1 for the week. Technically, we had a weekly price reversal of the upside. So if you're a technician, we would continue to watch this week's low. The thing about news-wise, if you go back in history just a little bit, Smithfield sold out to a Chinese conglomerate. And what we saw here picking up is they're reducing. They've moved facilities, about 150 sows over to Murphy. I don't know how to read that yet. So is that weaker Chinese demand, or they just want to get out of the U.S.?
Curt Kimmel of agmarket.net, our guest here on Friday. Curt, what's the best way for our viewers to get in touch for more marketing information?
We're at 1-800-779-1515, but go to agmarket.net. And the significance of clicking there here today is we have our sign up for our winter seminar in Nashville in the first weekend in February. Love to have everyone there.
Lots of great information from the team at agmarket.net. Check it out. Curt, thanks so much for the time. Appreciate it, and have a great weekend.
You bet. Take care.
Thank you to Curt Kimmel of agmarket.net for our closing markets today. Let's take a look at the closing numbers, which can be found anytime under the Markets tab of our website at iowaagnet.com.
March corn closes up 5 cents at $4.40 even. January soybeans unchanged at $9.93 3/4. January soybean meal down $3.70 at $2.8740. January soybean oil up 66 cents at $42.97. Chicago wheat down a penny at $5.57 1/4. Minneapolis wheat down 2 pennies at $5.96 1/2. Kansas City hard red wheat up 1 1/4 at $5.53 3/4. March oats down 4 3/4 at $3.59 1/4. On the Merc, December live cattle up 40 cents at $187.37. January feeder cattle up 90 cents at $255.82. February lean hogs up 97 cents at $87.32. February pork cutout unchanged at $94.40. Class 3 milk is up 8 cents at $18.87.
That wraps up our closing markets for today and brings us to the end of today's show. You can find all of our content on our website anytime at iowaagnet.com. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click on the notification icon as well to let you know when we have any new content available. You can follow us on social media at Facebook, X, TikTok, and LinkedIn. And don't forget as well to listen to our morning, midday, and closing market podcast, as well as our daily Iowa Ag Matters podcast. You can find that wherever you find your favorite podcast on Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. From the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network studios in Des Moines, I'm Mark Magnuson. For Riley Smith, Dustin Huffman, and Andy Peterson, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.